We're going to start today's episode by looking in Legends mode at the history of Lugen-Toulon, Painted Road. And this place has a very interesting history. So this is the evil ruin that our group, the Bane of Ancients of the Solitary Road, went and reclaimed in the year 250. And it withered pretty much immediately. And before we go and attempt to take it back again, I wanted to know, what's the history of this place? And oh boy, does this place have a story. It was founded in the year 79 by the Gilded Sharks. The Guild of Sharks is a local civilization of dwarves. They set up the Courageous Vault, the local government of Painted Road. The first leader of the Courageous Vault, Nomal Bridgeburied. She's a very interesting character. She was born in the year 61, just a girl from the hillocks. She fought in lots of battles for the Gilded Sharks, and she was made the leader of Painted Road in the year 79. In the year 104, she left Painted Road, and she moved to Bannerjudged, which is the mountain home where the Guild of Sharks rule from. She was involved in lots more battles, with lots more outlaws. She was a good soldier. Just under 40 years later, she settled in a tower called Cult Glazed, where she learned to become a necromancer. She was in Cult Glazed for a little over 10 years, when the humans of the Puce Unions destroyed the tower and enslaved her. She was held in the hamlet of Shopbrushes, where she became part of the government eventually, and she held a notable position for 30 years. Then she moved on from Shopbrushes to a monastery called Pepper Seasons, where she started by writing books. But then she began her espionage. She developed a network of agents and placed them throughout various locations run by the Guild of Sharks. And then in the year 220, she went back to Bannerjudged, and she staged a coup on the Guild of Sharks, overtaking them and becoming their queen, and quite a tyrannical queen at that. So most of the time that Nomal Bridgeburied was having her adventures, Painted Road was leading quite a quiet existence. But then in the year 207, while Nomal was still in the monastery, Painted Road got caught up in the squeezing conflict of slings. A huge war that the Oily Trenches raged on the Guild of Sharks. The story of the Oily Trenches starts when the daughter of a necromancer, Iden Rampart Drills, was born in the year 37. She'd grown up in Fence Machine, a fortress run by the Guild of Sharks. In the year 123, she left Fence Machine and moved to a tower called Diamond Kindle, where she learnt to become a necromancer. But 8 days later, Diamond Kindle was destroyed and she was enslaved by the Puce Unions. Yep, that's these guys again. And she was taken to the castle, Mergecharm. She settled into Mergecharm and became part of the local government. But she was convicted of embezzlement and had to flee, and she went back to Fence Machine, where she'd grown up. She settled down again in Fence Machine, where she became a good soldier and she was involved in lots of battles. But by the year 183, the people of Fence Machine had started to notice that she wasn't aging, and it aroused their suspicions, and so she had to flee once again. She hid out in the Swamp of Roughness and formed the Oily Trenches and built the tower Pass Page, from where she built her army of abominations, and other necromancers came and studied under her. And this is where the Oily Trenches crosses paths with Painted Road, because in the year 207, the Oily Trenches launched their war on the Guild of Sharks, and they conquered a number of the Guild of Sharks sites, including Painted Road. During the battle for Painted Road, a number of the residents were experimented on by Nish Inkburned, who was a student of Iden Rampart Drills. Remember Nish Inkburn's name, it'll become relevant later. The remaining residents of Painted Road formed a band of refugees and fled to the steamy mire. The Oily Trenches formed a government called the Curls of Wire to take over Painted Road, But they didn't last very long, because the rows of tribes, the elven allies of the Guild of Sharks, turned up at Painted Road with an army of 6,000, just too late to save the residents. They defeated the Curls of Wire, but they pillaged Painted Road. The Guild of Sharks turned up 8 days later and slew the remaining members of the Curls of Wire in the second conquest of Painted Road. Iden Rampart Drills was captured the year later by the rows of tribes and was sentenced to death by being fed to beasts. Nish Inkburnt was captured by the goblins during the war and was taken to Combine Poisons, where he's still held to this day. The Guild of Sharks placed Shorast Fight Cudgel in charge of Painted Road and named the new government the Torch of Entangling. Her reign wasn't a happy time for Painted Road. Members of the local religion, the Luxurious Sect, were persecuted on her order, and the marketplace, the Gilded Oat, was destroyed. Meanwhile, another war was brewing. In a familiar story, Rigoth Painted Last, a dwarf from Gorge Mansion, a fortress held by the Solitary Road, which is our civilization. She also became a necromancer, and she was also enslaved by the Puce Unions after the tower where she was studying was destroyed. But she escaped to Shootbeans, a mountain hall held by the Solitary Road. She'd settled in Shootbeans for several years, but eventually she started to arouse suspicion because she'd never aged. She wandered the nearby jungles of Severity, where she formed the treaties of kindling and built a tower called Room Grasping. And in the year 218, only 11 years after Shorast's Fight Cudgel had taken over the Painted Road, the treaties of kindling attacked. They defeated Shorast's government of the Torch of Entangling in the third conquest of Painted Road. They drove out Shorast and the remaining survivors, who formed a band of refugees and fled to the mountains of the Beak of Clashing. Rigoth set up the local government of the Branded Diamonds to run Painted Road, and she placed Adil Bridgebeans in charge. He was a dwarf that she'd resurrected 28 years earlier. But then the rows of tribes, the elven allies who'd driven out the oily trenches 11 years earlier, came to the rescue. They attacked with 6,700 soldiers and beasts of war against 200 defenders of the treaties of kindling, and they were victorious in the fourth conquest of Painted Road. Adil Bridgebeans was shot in the battle, and Rigoth Painted Last was captured and executed by drowning. This time, the rows of tribes placed Nathitha Eaglewets in charge of the local government, the Tufted Tornadoes. Nathitha settled in Painted Road, and she married there. The marketplace, the Gilded Oat, was rebuilt, and many counting houses were established as Painted Road prospered as a trading town. Many people came and settled, including a dwarven vampire called Mesthor Roserag. But there's always a necromancer somewhere nearby who's been enslaved by the Puce Unions and had to flee to the jungles of Severity. And this time it was Thob Lance Trusses, the son of a monk and a farmer. While wandering the jungles of Severity, Thob Lance Trusses formed a group called the Born Calm and built a tower called Champets. And in the year 249, just 6 months before our party arrived, and 31 years into Nathitha's reign, the Born Calm attacked the Painted Road. The dwarven vampire Nesthor Roserag led the defence, but he was struck down by a dog, along with 7 other defenders. The survivors, including Nathitha, fled as refugees to the Steamy Mire. The Born Calm were the victors of the 5th conquest of Painted Road, and they formed a local government called the Hammers of Fording. Thob Lance Trusses placed in charge a goblin called Ampsu Named Horrors, who he'd resurrected only a few weeks earlier. And once again the rows of tribes came to the rescue of Painted Road and defeated the Hammers of Fording. Ampsu Named Horrors was killed for the 2nd time during the battle, and the rows of tribes pillaged Painted Road before moving on to destroy Thob Lance Trusses' tower Champets. They captured Thob Lance Trusses and executed him by drowning. And so Painted Road was left, ungoverned as a ruin inhabited by the things left over from war. And in the year 250, just 6 months after Painted Road had been abandoned. Our little group of inadequately equipped and trained dwarves who called themselves the Bane of Ancients set off to reclaim Painted Road, and every one of them had died within a day of arrival. But we've learnt from that, and now I've got a cunning plan as to how we're going to reclaim Painted Road. So apart from being interesting, the legends about this world and our evil ruined Painted Roads, it's actually quite important context for what we're about to do next. We were kind of held back with our first reclaim attempt because when we embarked, with the wagon landing inside the ruin, we couldn't just run away because we would leave all the stuff behind, and we can't even dig underground to get safe if we don't have a pickaxe. So the cunning plan is to go in adventure mode and to take some intrepid warriors with us, and they're going to take a load of stuff for our future embark attempt. They'll leave all of the equipment and the stuff that the dwarves need outside the ruin, somewhere nearby, and we'll hope that it's still there when our next migration wave gets there. And then our intrepid warriors will try to clean out as many of the enemies as they possibly can. But if they fail to clear the entire place, then our next attempt at embarking will at least give our dwarves a chance of escape. So, who is our party? Well, first we have Ralph. He is a dwarf and he is the adopted son of Greg, and he is heading out with vengeance in mind. He wants to avenge the death of his adopted father, Greg. And then we have the Pope 1000, who is eager to cleanse the world of evil. They're both from the Solitary Road, and they both met in Shaken Shot, a dwarven camp in the swamps near the Painted Road. And then we have Surlock and Saltwater Aquifer, two of Nisha's warriors. They have been held in Banner Judged since Nish Inkburned was captured by the goblins. They've become tired of No Malbridge Buried's overbearing rule in Banner Judged, and they want to head out to the Painted Road, to where they had their last battle, and to clear out the other tormented souls that they believe they've left behind. And then we have Aesherat and Flamebreaker, two eagle people who have recently escaped from Merge Charm, the human castle held by the Puce Union, infamous as the place where necromancers are imprisoned and enslaved. Aesherat and Flamebreaker have also been kept there against their will, and now they've managed to escape. And between them, our 6 warriors have brought everything that they think they need. Ralph has brought some copper shields and wood. The Pope has brought some blocks and things for the hospitals. He's also brought 5 copper cages, so maybe our future dwarves will be able to make cage traps quickly. Surlock has brought a couple of maces, pigtail seeds and granite. Saltwater Aquifer has also brought a couple of maces, and he's carrying a crossbow and a quiver just in case they come in useful. Aesherat has brought 2 exceptional quality silver whips and some jugs and a little bit of alcohol for everybody. And Flamebreaker has brought much more alcohol. And between them, they've got 6 yaks, because yaks are just the bee's knees when it comes to fighting. And now adventure awaits. The party of our 6 intrepid warriors are setting off from Shaken Shot, the dwarven camp in the swamps near Painted Road. 15 days have passed since our last venture into the Painted Ruin, and here are our 6 warriors and their 6 yaks. Now I'm just going to sort them out a little bit and I'll be right back. So finally, we've made it out of the camp and into the jungles of Severity, where we found a little gap in the trees where neither the yaks nor any of the people are in the trees. So now we can sort out who's carrying what weapon, which is a good thing because some people don't have any at the moment. So it is the 2nd day of the 2nd month of the year 250, and we are finally organised. And I've discovered something quite interesting as well. Surlock and Saltwater Aquifer are Nisha's warriors. They fly, which I didn't know, which is both great for us and also a little bit concerning because that means that we're probably going to be coming across some other experiments that fly as well. Now, we're wandering around in the jungles of Severity, and this is a place where refugees and outcasts can be found, so we need to take a little bit of care. This is the place where Rigoth painted last wandered before forming the treaties of kindling and building her tower, room grasping. Right, let's let Ralph lead the way. We should be heading roughly to the northwest, but more north than west. Oh, someone... Who? What? The Pope is fighting a slim honey badger. Strike it in the upper body with your mace. Strike it in the neck with your mace. Strike it in the lower body with your mace. Okay. Well, I suppose we might as well butcher it rather than leaving it around to be resurrected by necromancers. We're going to need some stones, though. There's some diorite pebbles. Okay, let's go over to the corpse with Ralph. We're going to have to remove H. Remove H. And then create a sharp rock. There we go. Now butcher the corpse with the sharp diorite rock. Now get the bones, the meat, the skin, fat, get the skull, and get the brain, tripe, liver, intestines, and lungs. Alright, let's move on. Right, let's fast travel a little bit. Oh, what's that tower over there? That doesn't look good. This place is littered with monasteries and towers and all kinds. I think that might be a mercenary fort. I think we'll not worry about going and exploring it. Let's have a look at the map. See, we probably want to go to the west of the forest retreat. Okay, what I'm going to try and do is to get to this dwarven settlement here for the night. That seems like a good place to settle down. And it is getting a bit close to the end of the day, I think. Right, let's see if we can make it. Okay, I think we actually need to be going quite a bit more to the west. Definitely want to avoid the goblin areas. Oh, okay, we've discovered a river. That's nice. And wolves. Okay, looks like we're going to have more things to butcher. And everyone's a bit hungry and thirsty as well, so this is no bad place to stop. Let's see, someone there is... Yes, so like you're right next to a wolf. Let's get you going. Strike it. And you're going to have to strike it in the paw. Maybe we try the head, even though it's a difficult strike. Go for it with your silver mace. The wolf strikes at Surlock, but the shot is blocked. Bastam, one of the yaks, has gored one of the wolves, and Cummil, one of the yaks, has attacked one of the wolves, but the wolf jumped away. A wolf has bitten Cummil, one of our yaks, in the upper body. Oh no! And latched on firmly, but Cummil has charged at the wolf and collided with it, and the wolf has been knocked over but tumbles backwards. Dodok, another yak, has attacked the wolf, but that wolf has jumped away. Okay, who's not in this fight? Saltwater aquifer. Get yourself forwards. Let's start with the people who are in the trees. Okay. Something died? Let's hope it was one of the wolves. Okay, Flamebreaker is fighting. Let's move you forwards. Yes, another wolf has been struck down. Okay, let's get Ralph. Let's get him to butcher these wolves. There's night. Let's head for that area over there. Let's avoid whatever that thing is. Yes, there we go. I think we're in the Dwarven Fields. Let's go across that bridge there. Aha! Yes, they look like little hill homes. The shield tattoo hillocks. Maybe if we drop out of fast travel here? Ah, yes, I see doors all around us. Nice. Be nice if we could sleep indoors. Wonder if we can get permission to stay the night. So look, you're the best talker. Let's go into that house. I can see there's people moving around. Put your weapon away. Okay, there's something asleep in the corner there. Somebody... Okay, there's somebody there. Let's try talking to them. The concave nose bridge dwarf presser. Okay, let's say hello to you. Let's greet them. Hello, my name is Sir Lock Catchpaint. The dwarf says, hello, I'm Rizan Gladbolt, Sir Lock. I can't say I've heard that before. Apparently I'm in a conversation with Flamebreaker. And no, let's keep talking to Ryzen. We would like to stay the night. There we go. Let's ask for permission. Please let me shelter here for the night. And Ryzen says, certainly, it would be terrible to leave someone to fend for themselves. Fantastic. And I know you probably thought it was just me and my couple of friends here, but we've got a lot of yaks to get in through the door as well. This might be a bit fiddly. Okay, can we fast travel? We can. So we've successfully slept the night. Nothing terrible happened. I've done a little bit of jiggling around with some of the yaks so that the granite is spread across a few more of them rather than just on one yak, because we had just one yak that kept falling behind. Right, let's see if we can fast travel to Painted Road. Okay, there's the goblins to the right, and we can see the evil hills coming up to the left there, and we're in the steamy mire where the refugees came. Oh, and there we go. There is Painted Road. Okay, well, the little stars, the little asterisks tell us that there's things moving around. I think what we'll do, I would like to drop out of fast travel before anything gets too close to us. But if we could at least get ourselves nicely aligned like this so that we can drop out of fast travel. Yeah, about there. And then we just gotta walk a little bit of the way in. But, well, let's go and see how our other settlers are getting on. Here we are at Utopia. Nearly done. There we go. Oh, well, there we go. So now I'm going to get a stockpile over here. Let's do food so we get barrels. Put the stockpile over there. Settings. We'll say furniture. Stone so we get the gypsum. Ammo if we've got any. Bars and blocks. Gems so we get the glass. Finished goods. Leather. Cloth. Wood. In the first instance we'll move the wood eventually. Weapons. Armour if we have any. I know we don't, but you know, if we get some before I think about it. Right, dwarves, go and haul everything in. Oh, the other thing I want to do. I'm going to leave most of the animals where they are, but I'm going to get the cats in. Because they'll go wandering off around the map, whereas the other animals will stay with the wagon. Okay, now it's going to take a couple of weeks of in-game time for all of that stuff to be moved over. Okay, how are we doing? How much stuff have we got to move? A little bit. I see nobody is volunteering to move the anvil just yet. And here we are at the Wilderness Fortress. What's that? Basalt. Okay. And they dig through sand a lot faster. Okay, this isn't all sand though. What is it? Loamy sand cavern floor, that'll do. Okay, now they've dug all... Oh, but what's that? Chert. Okay, so we're already into stone here. Well, we'll mark out a stockpile. Okay, that should be everything that we've got in the wagon. And the other thing I want to do is to put in an animal zone. And we're going to get the cats moved down before they wander off around the map. Okay, go for it, dwarfs. Now, since as we do have some rock already, what we could do is to just mine out a little bit of space at the end here to get the mason set up. Let's just do that little space there. Okay, miners aren't taking the job, so let's stop our best miner from hauling for the moment. So don't haul food, don't haul items. That should be enough. And we'll build a workshop and mason. Right there. Out of Chert's closest, yep, we'll use Chert. And now we'll add, construct some hatch covers. What rock do we have? We'll make it out of basalt because we'll probably get more basalt faster. And I want to put a workflow on that. Hatch covers of basalt. Well, we'll do 1 to 2 so we don't end up with a lot hanging around. Okay, but let's build the hatch covers. We can put it in planning mode and we can have these placed then as soon as they're ready. To make it secure, we also need the hatch covers placed here. All right, have we moved everything now? Yes, we have. So let's deconstruct the wagon and we'll designate the area that we've got down here as a meeting area. That'll coax the animals indoors, and we'll set up an animal zone upstairs for the grazing animals. Let's see, we don't want them too far away from where we are. We don't need it too big to start with. So pen pasture, the grazers. And we're going to want to start wood production. Let's get the beds made. So we'll dig, well, we'll toggle the markings. If we toggle the markings along to here, and then we'll start putting in some of the workshops down at this level. Maybe on this one we'll connect it that way, and then we can put workshops along the edge and have a bit of a thoroughfare. Okay. Right, we'll toggle those markings. So we're going to want to come down here to here. See, we'll need to get at least that space there for the workshop. Let's get that little corner there taken out. So as time goes on, we will dig more faster, but it's good just to get things going in the first instance. So in the next episode, we're going to take our adventurers into the evil ruin and see what happens. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a copy of my adventurer world and I'm going to try an alternate timeline. We're going to take the adventurers on an adventure and we're going to see what we can uncover. We're going to explore some of the historical venues that we've seen around the place. So join me on stream for that. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.